You're welcome back, and this is TV3 Newsday. We're going to cross over to Zoom now to speak to Dr. Isaac Newman Arthur. He's a clinical psychologist, and there's a need to have this conversation because in recent times we've seen a surge in the number of mental health cases in the country. And case in point, just recently, we saw how Funny Face also went through his own case of mental health challenges. He came back from the hospital and was very worried about not being able to access his children. And then quite recently, just a few days ago, we were told that he was involved in some accident that caused some injuries to about 4 people. And so basically, we want to have a general conversation about depression and how far it can go to harm a person. And Dr. Isaac Newman Arthur has just joined us via Zoom. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. Dr. Isaac Newman Arthur, what is the latest with regards to the number of mental health cases we have in the country? Can you hear me, Doc? Dr. Arthur, can you hear me?
I think there was a break.
Okay.
There was a break. So
yes.
If you can repeat it.
Okay, so I was asking that what is the latest with regards to the number of mental health cases we have in the country and how severe are they?
Thank you very much. I want to say good morning to all those who are watching us. And generally, you may have about 10 to 14% of the Ghanaian population having some form of mental disorder. And those figures are understated because majority of the people.
Looks like we're having challenges with.
Because they don't even know. So they are.
Dr. Arthur, we lost you. So you're saying, hold on. You're saying that at the moment we have about 13 or 14% of the entire population suffering some form of mental health challenge, and even that is understated.
Yeah, what I'm saying is about 10 to 14% of Ghana's population.
Okay.
Having some form of problems. And I'm saying that whatever figures you may see out there is not the exact representation of the situation because a lot of people don't report it. And so we hear about it. And the reason is that a lot of people don't even know that what they are going through is a mental health problem and that they should go to hospital, will get help. And sometimes because of the stigma associated with mental health problems, people don't report it. And so that is a big problem.
It is. I mean, it is. But let's divide it now. So when you look at the population, of course, I know that when they're gathering the information, they don't determine who is a celebrity and who is not. But when it comes to personalities who have the support of the rest of society, and as a result, there's a lot of pressure on them, how severe could the situation be when they eventually develop some form of mental health challenge?
I think those who are in the public space, they have an increased risk of mental health problems. And when I say mental health problems, I'm not talking about, respectfully those who are lying on the streets. That is one of the extreme forms of mental disorders. But they are plenty mental health problems, anxiety issues, bipolar, depressive-related problems, personality problems, sex-related problems. There are lots, sleep, feeding problems. There are all kinds of mental health problems. And so for those in the public space, because everybody is in their space, whether online or their personal life, anybody who calls them is likely to need them for something. So they are giving out. They have no privacy. Something comes up in the media and it may not even be true, but it's out there and people believe it and people may be insulting them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they are at increased risk because of all the stresses around these things. And for example, personally, I'm on the media space, quite, and I think something happened. It's about 3 weeks ago. Where I think went about children, I think 6 to 7 year olds who cannot bath.
Yeah.
And whether parents. I think it went viral.
Yes, it is.
But you see, it was totally out of context. It was about 2 hours kind of program. And we went stage by stage, child development, what every child is supposed to do and stuff like that. And and it was totally out of place, out of context. And people actually were saying all kinds of things, insulting me and saying all kinds of, imagine you wake up in the morning and something that you say or something that someone said, reported, which is totally not true. right? And
Yeah.
it's out there, and you cannot control it. People would denigrate you. They will question whether you're a correct person. They will even, it's a whole lot in the media space. So imagine for you and others who are consistently on TV, or you have a certain following, right? And something happens. No, and it's not even true, or it's not exactly what it is, and it goes out there. How do people even survive? Because just that period, what I went through that period. Some people actually understood what I said. Others took it completely out of context because the person who posted it, meant it good, but totally out of context. Because if you listen to the whole thing, then you understand why that statement and all that. It was a nasty experience.
Okay.
Right. And so for those,
for you, I just wanted to come in and ask, how did you handle it? I mean, you are a professional, so I can imagine that you are equipped with all the resources to help you better manage a challenge like that.
Well, it's not easy at all. It's not easy. It's not easy. And even if you're a professional, so some of my professional friends will never go online because if you go say something out of context. So a lot of professionals really don't want to be in the media space because of things like that. And so I think it was kind of, I took it that, what do you call it? It was out of ignorance. That is why people were, whatever they say, they were not fully aware of what happened, right? And again, I took it that even if I made that statement, which was out of context, it showed me that a lot of parents are doing their best, but they don't know what they should even do for their kids to develop well.
Yeah.
So I took it from that now I have a responsibility to educate parents on what they should do to be able to, help their kids grow well. So from my professional knowledge, I was able to go around it, and you have a few people who know you and they will call you to encourage you and stuff like tell you should go. So social support is very, very important, when it comes to things like that. When you have people who are you and they're able to encourage you and stuff like that, it helps. Then again, too, if you develop some daily, what do you call it, activities around you that maximizes your mental well-being, then regardless of the challenges that come up, it doesn't really affect you. Because I laugh so much. You go, someone was even saying, I have not given birth before. Because of that, I'm talking rubbish. Can you imagine?
Oh.
But I have 2 kids. I'm a father.
So that's the thing as well. So sometimes even the kind of comments that come, they can be quite insulting, and if you've not really developed a tough skin, you fall for it and then you lose yourself in the process. If you're going through this kind of depression, should you completely stay away from social media?
Oh, well, I think that you should know why you are there, and you should understand the nature of the impact you want to make. So if you are focused on the assignment and you are really not listening to people around, it helps you. Because in a social media, people would have to comment. They have to see something. And I don't blame them too. They saw a statement, people would actually be angry, regardless of whether it's in context or out of context. So people they should say whatever they want to say, but if they are more sensitive to a lot of things, it helps. And those things. So in a public space, you should focus on the assignment. And again, too, you should excuse people for sometimes if they are ignorant about things. Sometimes it's not their fault. Genuinely, they saw something, they want to say something, right? And probably people are already going. So, for example, if a parent who is breaking their neck, right, for their kids, doing their best, and at age 6 and 7, their kids are not bad thing, and a statement says that you have failed, naturally you would have to say something.
Yeah.
So sometimes people say not because they really want to insult, but people are going through all kinds of things. And because of that, they are going into all kinds of things. But if you are in a public space, you should focus on your assignment. And if you develop a daily attitude that helps you maximize your mental well-being, then it's easy.
Okay.
Right? It's easy.
This is a special question, a request from a student, a postgraduate student. And now she's indicating that herself and her colleagues are going through a lot of stress, and this is brought upon them by their lecturers. Now, the lecturer is demanding a bit too much, making it almost impossible for them to get their work done. And unfortunately, a number of them do not have access to professional help because they cannot afford it. So they're going through it, trying to complete their course, and most of them are ended up depressed as well. How do they manage this?
Yeah, well, there are, maybe we'll talk about this, that there are things you do on a daily basis that will help you build mental resilience, right? There are quite a number. Maybe I'll mention them. If you have a positive attitude towards life, it helps. If you're overly negative about life, it doesn't help at all, right? So, for example, you come at Legon at 9, and at 8:55, you are in traffic on the motorway.
Yeah.
You will not get to play. If you buy yogurt and sleep, you will still not get to Legon. But buying yogurt and sleep, and it's more a positive attitude towards life. You feel better by the time you get to Legon. So, being positive does not mean that you are denying the fact. It means you are thinking about the fact that is productive. So a positive attitude really helps.
Okay.
So, for example, for you, some people may not like you, others may like you. So it's not you, it's how they see you, what they think about you. Those who are very positive about you, they endear towards you. So positive mindset. Then again, to positive relationships, right? So we all have the people around us who are positive or negative, people who threaten our mental well-being. You should actually distance yourself.
All right. Well, Doc, thank you so much for your time. I know you have patients who are waiting to see you, and so we'll not take too much of your time. We'll have an extensive conversation on this much later, but thank you for speaking to us. Dr. Isaac Newman Arthur is a clinical psychologist.